How's it going, everyone? Tasty Snackies here, back at it again with another video for you all. It's going to be a little bit different this time. Instead of, my normal memes and videos that I make like that and commentaries, I happened to catch across on my Twitter feed that a fellow YouTuber, T1GlistenerElf, also known as T1GlistenerElf, was going through some copyright issues. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves to us?
I'm T1GlistenerElf, and this is T1 Stoneforge Mystic. This is my daughter, Evangeline. True story. I actually cast Stoneforge Mystic on turn 1 on the game I played before she was born. So that's pretty awesome. In related news, Gemstone Caverns is a pretty good.
That's good. Oh,
but that would be how.
Oh, you cut out first.
All right.
All right. So, what is it that you do normally? Like, what kind of content do you create?
Mostly gameplay. It's mostly me and someone else. Mm-hmm. Modern, legacy, vintage popper, whatever the case may be. Okay. Just playing against one another. That's the bread and butter of it. Okay. Every now and then you'll see a meme video. There's a playlist on my channel of about 40 or so of exactly what it sounds like. Like When I'm the Boss is probably my favorite. Shout outs to Tom Ross. Mm-hmm. Or Ross Merriam, A Journey into His Mind, or A Journey into the Mind of an Infect Player, where Evangeline beats me on turn 1.
I bet that was a proud moment for you.
Yeah. She's pretty good. I haven't beaten her since she was 1 year old. Aww. The sample size is not great on that, and, parent bias, but still.
Hey, she's got a whole lifetime to maintain that winning record against you. So.
That's right. We'll see how long it lasts.
So, speaking of meme videos, this relates directly to why I wanted to talk to you about copyright issues. So, you made this video not too long ago. I just actually finished watching the video again to catch myself back up to speed, but to go over it with our audience again, what exactly happened with you and Jeff Hoogland before this event, just to give us context?
Context, all right. Twitter conversation about Blood Moon and Tron. I made a whole video about this, but to summarize quickly, if you play Tron, Blood Moon it's bad for you, but it's not the end of the world. And where exactly that line is for how good it is something on which he and I disagreed. Ultimately, there actually wasn't that much daylight between our positions. It's pretty much that. That's exactly how it went. And as me on Twitter. Well, when I went to credit him in this video. Okay. Oh dear. Well, I'll say that bit again. When he and I, so there actually wasn't that much daylight between our positions, but when I went to credit him on Twitter, I credited him in the description for the video, sent a link to the Bloodbraid Elf video he made, and then also went to credit him on Twitter, and I find out that he's blocked me. That's why when I @ Jeff Hoogland, he doesn't show up. Mm-hmm. And I made a video about Blood Moon and Tron, and he unblocked me. Well, later this Junway, or not later, it's already out, but later he copyright strikes Jun Ways to Die and blocks me again on Twitter. So now, to be clear, there's something in the United States, and I know you and I are from the US, but not everyone watching this will be, I'm sure. There's a concept in the US called fair use. It's a legal policy that is an exemption to what we think of as typical copyright law, where you can use something that's copywritten without permission as long as you meet certain qualifications. And I am not a copyright attorney. I've been doing this for a while, but I can't speak to it legally. So don't ask me, does your video qualify? I couldn't say with certainty. But you can look up what the qualifications are. And one of them, Hoogland matches on a number of means, but one of them is how transformative it is. If it ends up being very different than the original content, then it's transformative and more likely to pass fair use. Mm-hmm. The nature of it, is it a parody? Being parody is another, that's why Family Guy and South Park can get away with using so much content, and it's just basically ripped straight from it. It's because they're doing a parody. So and so on and so forth. Those are the two main criteria. There's also very little content that's used. And while it's possible that you can use literally a second and it no longer meets fair use, the less you to qualify. And for him, it's like 5-6 seconds. It's not very much.
Yeah,
it's 2 clips of blood breaking into. Sorry.
After looking at the clips that you show in your video, yeah, they're very, very brief, minor sections that don't feature any audio from him. In fact, it's audio that you've created. I don't know if the music on top of that was music that you created, but I recognize that it was you singing on top of that. So you have a very strong argument for fair use. Now, I've had experience with this in the past. I don't know if you know the channel Desolator Magic. I've made quite a few videos about him. Some of them not necessarily the most positive, a little malicious, making fun of him a little bit, and he decided that he wanted to challenge me with that. And it wasn't really able to stand through because, like you, the videos that I made where I took very brief clips of him and I was able to morph them in a way to where it was my own intellectual property. And that's a very strong argument that you have for yourself, is that this video that you've made and these clips with him, you've transformed it enough to where you can consider that your own content. And I know Brian Rowe commented on one of your...
Sartre Rowe. He's Sart now. He's actually legally changed his name.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I learned that too. That was something I recently learned.
Gotcha. I noticed that he commented on that as well, and he made some very good points. And I don't know, like, I don't want to talk any crap on Jeff Hoogland. That's not what this is for. This is not to bring any negative attention towards him at all. But I don't understand if maybe because you guys had a bad interaction in the past, maybe this is as a result of that, because I just don't understand how he perceives copyright laws to be. Like, I don't know, maybe he's just salty. This is what it just kind of seems like for me from his point.
This is Jeff Hoogland. He's the DSP of our community.
Jeez. Dark Side Phil, that's a name I haven't thought of in a long time.
There is some salt to be had, to be sure. That being the case, there's also something that's notable to, I can't speak to Desolator, but when it comes to, actually, let me take a step back. Giving the benefit of the doubt, he's not a copyright attorney. It's because of the kind of work that he does on YouTube and on Twitch, it's not likely that he would know what fair use was prior to it being brought up to him, which a number of people did bring it up. So when he first brings the copyright strike, yes, that's a legal action, but you don't go after someone for just being ignorant. I mean, maybe you do, but not in this case. If he were to have done it again, then yeah, that would be, now that he knows what fair use is, that would be an issue. And you can go after someone who issues a false copyright strike because, again, action. Their striking your video causes it to be down, and you don't make, if you don't make revenue or you can demonstrate damages, there you go, then you can actually sue him for damages. Now, in this case, that would be, 1, petty, so not going to do that. 2, again, it's the first instance. 3, it's a video that I wasn't even able to monetize for myself, so the damages, if there would be any, are minute. But I will say that on the other hand, Pleasant Kenobi, another MTG YouTuber, made a video with Jeff Hoogland getting MTGO'd by Leonin Arbiter. And in that case, there was much more of his content that was used.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen that video.
Explicitly, his pinned post, his pinned comment, yeah. So I'm not entirely sure that he didn't know what it was, but it seems this certainly wouldn't be the first time that we've dealt in our community with people who are okay with it as long as it's positive towards them, or at least not negative. And then, actually, I say that, this wasn't even really negative towards Jeff. It's blood braiding into Tarmogoyf twice, and scavenging his ability 5 or 6 times. That's not really...
Okay, here I'm sure what he was thinking is yeah, he was trying to make like a copyright claim. I don't think maybe he was being so malicious as to do a strike. I'm willing to give him the benefit of a doubt. Now, I forget who said it, but someone said if it happens twice, you know it's a coincidence, but if it happens 3 times, then it's a trend. So I would like to give him the benefit of a doubt, even though I like to call him salty because I mean, well, he is still salty. But yeah, maybe he just doesn't understand the difference between a copyright claim and a strike, because if he were to make a claim that would be at least a little bit more sensible, and at that point he would just only be getting your very small earnings from that video. But a strike is dangerous. A strike is very dangerous.
Yeah, it's a two-edged sword. A strike can get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Because again, it is a legal action. Now, okay, so I've never actually issued a claim or a strike or anything like that on people. So I don't know how the process works. Maybe it's possible that he accidentally put a strike in and meant to do a claim, but he hasn't retracted, or as of last night, I can't speak to right now, but as of the night before this is recorded, he had not issued he had not retracted it. My counter notification has been reviewed by YouTube and it's been allowed. And something else to note, on YouTube, if multiple parties are claiming a video, the revenue off of it. This is, if you've seen Jimquisition, he'll intentionally do this to a lot of his videos where he tries to make it where there aren't any ads on them because he's supporting his channel through Patreon. And so he will put multiple kinds of copyright in, or copyright claims that YouTube does automatically through its content ID system so that no one claims it. Because my video was already claimed, and I'll get more into that in just a second, Jeff wouldn't have made anything off of it anyway had he claimed it. It wouldn't have been a fair claim in that case either. It still would have been incorrect for the same reasons that a strike would be incorrect. But he still wouldn't have made anything off of that. Now, you were right in saying that the singing was mine. That awful singing, unfortunately, was mine. But the music was only ever so slightly altered from the official music from Dumb Ways to Die, which is of course, the meme template that it was based on. On their official YouTube channel, they put out an instrumental, and that's what it was. So YouTube's Content ID system automatically picked that out. Now, that's perfectly all right with me. I would not be surprised if more than half of the videos in that LOL MTG playlist I mentioned are copyright claimed, and I make them anyway because I'm not expecting to get any money off of them. I'm doing something that I qualify on the whole as being fair use. The companies allow you to do that because they can then make the money off of it. There are instances when they won't. So if you take a whole song, often that'll get blocked by a music company because that's how they make their money. And so using all of Rap God actually pulls from their market value. So in that case, that makes sense. But in this case, like in all these other cases, the company that made that music just did a copyright claim. They got all the money for that video. So that's fine. That's fair enough. I'm okay with that. That just because someone else has standing for fair use doesn't mean that Jeff Hoogland has standing for fair use. If that company tried to come after me for whatever reason, then they could. But Jeff Hoogland does not have standing to, because my use of his work is, again, transformative enough. Yeah. And not doesn't pull from his market value, but adds to his market value. In other words, no one's going to see those clips in my video and not want to watch his stream as a result. The opposite is true, especially when you include a link in the description that credits him to the actual video itself. So that's another case against Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about, because this is something that's just been on the back of my mind, because I also make meme videos, and a lot of my videos are sourced from movies, which the copyright laws are a bit more finicky about that because just of how the media is itself. It's not music, whereas it's movies. So I've had to deal with removing videos and re-uploading cut versions of it, where I pretty much had to cut like half of the video down because it was too long, or else I was going to get struck down. So I've had to deal with somewhat similar issues, but how long? It's a 30-day period, I think, right? And after the 30-day period, if there's no action taken, then the claim is just dropped, if I'm correct, right?
Well, we're at a stage now. I issued a counter notification. So he strikes, that's a notification, and a counter notification is also a legal action. So I instituted a legal action there, which means you can't lie and that sort of thing. You have to be acting in good faith. And so after that point, once YouTube has reviewed the counter notification, which it did, and it allowed it through, then Jeff has 10 to 14 business days, is what they say on YouTube, to show YouTube proof that he's taking me to court. Now, who in their right mind thinks that Jeff is going to take me to court? No one. He doesn't have a... If he did, that's, you know, that's walking yourself off of a cliff. He doesn't have a case.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah. That being the case, he could just simply not show evidence and let that expire. He doesn't have to retract it manually. He could just wait the longest time he possibly can. Given his explicit animus against me, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he does. Just lets the counter notification expire, and then the video goes back up, the strike is removed. I can't see myself using anything from Jeff Hoogland again, because that would be directing traffic towards someone who is not fostering the best side of our community, let's say.
Yeah.
But that being the case, if for whatever reason I were to, let's just say, I don't know, he does something cool later down the road, and I do a parody of it. If he strikes it again, we're in a different spot, because then he can't say he doesn't know. People have explained fair use to him at this point. Assuming that I do it in a fair use way and not just take the Star City Games stream straight and put it on my site. Obviously, that wouldn't work. Yeah.
If hypothetically, let's just say that he wants to take it to the next degree and he actually wants to go to court, is this something that you would be prepared to fight?
I have an attorney that said that he would work pro bono for me on this. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, that would not, money would not be an issue in this case.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, I was wondering if we would need to direct you to, like, a GoFundMe or something.
I would be extremely surprised if that were the case. And to be honest, if he does, what's the minimum in damages that you can sue for after attorney's fees? Like $1? I'll pull a Taylor Swift on him and sue him for $1.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if he
there's
realizes how much money a channel that's like even under 10K can make. It's abysmal. Like there's no real money in it. So I don't know if it's a monetary thing or if he just wants to send a message to other content creators. Yeah,
it's got to be. Suppose, for the sake of this hypothetical, that he takes me to court and were to win and tried to get damages from me. Without getting too deep into it, and again, I'm not an attorney, you don't expect to receive $1 million off of a video with 8,000 views or however many it has. That's not remotely in the ballpark of what it would have made. That is something that's considered. Because again, the court looks at things like how much market value was taken from you. And so if someone even if he were to make the case, well, it took market value from me, and even if a court were to believe that, notwithstanding what I've already said, there's not a way, I think, that he can say that there's much damage there.
Yeah, because as you said earlier, there's no market value in that specific video because it had already been claimed by a third party. So all the money is already being directed towards them. So if anything, he would be fighting against them in tandem with you for the copyright. It's really strange when you think about it.
So let's say, to give an example that's come up in the past year or so, you remember all of those videos that were it's X, but every time Y it gets faster?
Right.
So let's say that I took that same video from Jeff Hoogland. It's Jeff Hoogland's dress Bloodbraid Elf, it gets faster. Well, I think you could make the case that it's transformational, but not a very strong case. It maintains the nature of his stream. It keeps the same dialogue. It keeps the same sequence of events. All that you're doing is that you're speeding it up. And if I were to make that video, I would not try to defend that as being transformational. If I had done something like that, then yes, he could make a case. It's deprived some of the market share from my videos because someone who sees that might see the Cliff Notes version of the video and not want to see the original one anymore. But no one's seeing Bloodbraid Tarmogoyf, Scoos, is going to not want to see that video.
What I don't understand in this day and age is when memes are used, like especially when they're focused around other content creators, it's almost a vessel. It's like an advertisement, really. Like ultimately, like you could come at it from that angle because someone could be subscribed to your channel, not know who Jeff Hoogland is, come across that part in your video, and then go check him out, and then finds out, hey, I like him, I'm gonna go subscribe to him, and boom, there you go. There's some hidden revenue that he didn't even know was available because of a lack of advertising, essentially.
And that's something that happens with some frequency. I have a number of videos that are claimed by Star City Games where I'm perfectly okay with this. I get to pay tribute to an organization that I really like. Star City Games is awesome in my opinion, and their commentators are excellent, and they get some of the, I mean, obviously in this case it's not transformational enough, it's not fair use. They get the revenue from it because they claim it doesn't get taken down, so there's nothing against Star City Games, so everybody wins. I guess technically I might not win because I didn't get the money, but I get to pay tribute to someone, so that's pretty cool by me.
Yeah,
that's how a lot of people see it. I suppose.
Yeah, I was about to say she seems a bit restless.
Yeah, just a little bit. We're over here. She's over here reading. All right, I'm playing with her toys. So I wouldn't be against that at all necessarily, to be honest, because it's using something from them and I'm paying tribute to them. That's all right by me. It's not about, if you're a channel with this few subscribers and this few views, it's obviously not about the money, especially when you can't make the money off the video anyway.
Yeah, it's really not. Like, I think the video that I have with the most views is like 18,000, and even at that point it's over 10 minutes, and I think in total of revenue it's made like maybe $30 at the most. Like, there's just no money at these numbers. You have to be at least in the six figures to start making a sustainable living off of YouTube. And I don't know, people just seem to think that YouTube is this magic money machine, and ultimately it really isn't. It hasn't been for at least the past, I don't know, year and a half. The dream's been dead, so the people who are still here making videos are doing it out of a passion. They make them because they want to make them. And in this situation, it's just kind of it's just kind of
that's pretty much exactly. Well, I appreciate your coming and talking with me about this.
Yeah.
Or allowing me to talk with you about it, rather.
Yeah, of course, man. If there's any other developments or any other like relevant updates that you feel like it needs to be shared, be sure to contact me, and maybe we can set another thing up. And hopefully there won't be, because I would assume that Jeff calms down on this situation, but who knows?
I'm actually pulling up right now to see if I can get an update, see if anything more recent has come out about all this.
Okay.
Let's see if my interwebs will work for me here. All right. He has not responded to the counter notification yet. So, he has till March 29th to respond in one way or another.
Okay.
Or it just expires and the strike's removed and so on and so forth.
So hopefully this issue can be resolved by April.
Yes, that would be more than ideal.
Yes, the last thing we need is more drama between content creators. We're recovering from what happened in November and December, and we just need good vibes right now, and hopefully Jeff can calm down about all of this. But thank you again for joining me on here and for talking with me about this, so that way we can let everyone know what's going on, so that way other people can realize that trying to get away with false copyright claims isn't necessarily the smartest idea, especially when more and more people are becoming aware of why you shouldn't be doing it. But again, thank you very much for joining us.
And just one last quick little thing here before we go. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm aware, he's still a good player. He's obviously been on the pro circuit for a reason. Mm-hmm. And you can see, I have a kid. Jay! I sometimes make content with her.
Jay!
Yes?
Jay!
Yes?
Subway deal.
While I fix her car, so I appreciate that he, as much as I've seen, he's good to his kids, and I certainly appreciate that. It's just in this one context. It's just as a social media figure, my impression is that he relishes. It's the mantra of all attention, or what is it? All publicity is good publicity. Mm-hmm. That's my impression of him. But other than that, I still think he's a good guy.
Yeah. I don't think he's evil or he has any ulterior motives. I just think he has his head stuck in the sand. But, hopefully this situation, everyone will come out of it learning something new and being a better person as a result of it. But before I let you go, just so I can let my viewers know again, where can we find you on YouTube and on Twitter and any other sites?
I am T1GlistenerElf on YouTube, T1 for Turn 1 or Tier 1. And by the way, there are two kinds of people in this world, people who pronounce it Turn 1 and people who pronounce it Tier 1. And you are the former, which is, not many people nowadays say Tier 1. Gitaxian Probe and Fatal Push, man. Break my heart. All right. On Twitter, I am also T1GlistenerElf, and my name changes a lot. Right now I'm T1 Stoneforge Mystic's dad. So, okay. But the tag is at T1GlistenerElf. And I think that's it. The one on MTG Salvation is not me. That is someone who got to the account before I did.
Gotcha. So
yeah, alas.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care, Tasty Snackies. Can you say bye-bye, Evangeline?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good day with your dad.
Yeah, we'll be sure to. We're going to go play.
Right? Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.